As you may or may not know, my wife and I just got back from Vegas. It was a great trip. We ate, we drank, we had a blast. But then we got home and looked at the credit card, and I gotta say, it doesn't matter how much fun you're having, $25 for a drink is a ripoff. Frickin' Vegas. I hate getting ripped off, and so do the lads over at Harry's. They spent years watching the razor blade companies rip people off and said, no more. Not all heroes wear capes, my friends, and they want to prove that they're legit by offering you hot dogs a $13 trial set for just $3 at harrys.com/RTG. I've been telling you about them for months, and I'm genuinely proud to have Harry's as a sponsor of this show. I wasn't kidding. The plastic, futuristic-looking crap razors you get at the store are overpriced and they're poor quality. Harry's blades are crisp, clean, and classy. They're the kind of razor you'd expect your grandpa to have on his bathroom counter. And most importantly, they work. Shave after shave, they're so smooth, they're precise. I used to go through the crappy store blades all the time, but Harry's are built to last. And they're not just better quality than the other names, they're more affordable. And they deliver. Just set your schedule, and for as little as $2, new blades, shaving creams, lotions, everything you need, right to your door when you need it. I genuinely cannot think of a reason not to try Harry's. And I'm not just saying this because they're sponsors. They're the best shaving supplies I've ever used. Try them out, and if you're not happy, your shave's on them. And unlike the other subscriptions, they're really easy to cancel if you want to too, which is a nice bonus, but believe me, you're not going to want to cancel. Getting ripped off isn't funny. Switch to Harry's. Get started with a $13 trial set for just $3 at harrys.com/RTG. That's harrys.com/RTG for a $3 trial set. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Remember the Game. It is my retro gaming podcast where every week a buddy of mine and I sit down and we geek out about the games we played back in the day. My name is Adam Blank. Thank you so much for listening to the show. And this week it is episode 222. And in hindsight, I just thought of this. It probably would have made sense to talk about a sequel of some kind. One of the games that ends in the number 2. But we didn't do that because we're not professional around here. We're actually going to talk about a game that is very near and dear to my heart, despite the fact that it is not really just very good at all. We're talking the infamous Bubsy in Claws Encounters of the Third Kind. And Bubsy's weird because he's a relic of the 90s when so many game studios were trying to come up with the next Sonic, and everyone just seemed to have some shitty, stupid animal mascot. There was Bubsy the Bobcat, Arrow the Acrobat, Gex the Gecko, Crash Bandicoot, the Bandicoot, that stupid croc thing. And obviously none of them even came close to Sonic's level. I would argue Crash Bandicoot probably got the closest. But Bubsy has just lived on, albeit kind of as a meme. But Bubsy is the cat that just refuses to die. And I don't entirely get why. I've only played Bubsy 1 and 2 on the SNES. Neither one is really that good. Well, Bubsy 2 isn't awful. We'll talk about that on an episode someday. But the first Bubsy game, that should have been it. It's a mediocre platformer with a stupid mascot that's not really very good. It should have been one and done. But if you grew up playing it, like, you get it, right? It wasn't good, but it wasn't bad. Maybe it was the crazy marketing push. Maybe it was that stupid voice, the bright graphics, the yarn balls, that ridiculous shirt with the exclamation point on it. For whatever reason, I have a soft spot for Bubsy, and we're going to talk about it this week with my buddy Keegs, who also, for some unexplainable reason, has a soft spot for Bubsy. And we both think it's a bad game that's kind of good in a weird way. And we'll get there in just a minute, because speaking of bad stuff that's kind of good in a weird way, it's time for another edition of the Remember the Game infamous intro. Dun, 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 dun. And if you're new to the podcast, welcome aboard. Consider this your warning. Our intros are kind of long, but they're fun, and they're better than Bubsy. They probably are. Just give them a chance. Like, what could possibly go wrong? And Bubsy fans know that quote. You'll know. By the end of this episode, you'll understand that. But seriously, though, if you do want to skip it, go about 30 minutes up the road. You'll be into the Bubsy chat. Listen, this is normally where I do my plugs, and I am going to do them, but I got to get this one out of the way up front because it is easily the most important plug of the year. This weekend, assuming you're listening to this episode between... When did this go live? Between Wednesday, November 9th and Saturday, November 12th. Assuming you're listening, or I guess the morning of Sunday, November 13th. If you're listening to it before then, I am streaming video games this weekend for 24 straight hours over on Twitch to raise money for the Stollery Children's Hospital here in Edmonton. It is an incredibly important hospital to the entire province of Alberta. It's a world-class facility. They take care of kids from all over this province. And as someone that spent a lot of time in hospitals as a kid because of my asthma and, the stupid things that I did, the Stollery Children's Hospital is very near and dear to my heart. So my goal is to raise $15,000 for the Stollery Children's Hospital. My girlfriend and I will be donating almost $3,000 out of our own pocket from our Patreon, which I'm going to get to in the Patreon plugs in just a second. But I would love it if you could swing by. If you want to donate, $20 is all it's going to take for you to be entered into some prize draws. I'll be giving away some Remember the Game merchandise. I'll be giving away video games. I'll be giving away signed posters. And I'll also be running an auction for the duration of my 24-hour stream, and whoever places the highest bid will donate that money to my stream. I'm not getting it. You'll be donating it right through Extra Life to the Stollery Children's Hospital, and upon the donation of your winning bid, you will be buying the chance to be my guest on an episode of Remember the Game in year 2023, and I'm going to lift the restriction curtain a little bit on the games that can be covered. But that's why I'm running the poll or running the auction during my 24-hour stream, so you can ask me about games and whether or not they're eligible and everything before you place your bids. But I want to raise some money. It's a great cause. Twitch.tv/Remember the Game, and you can find the donation link, the stream link, and a whole bunch more information if you just go to rememberthegamepodcast.com. It is a really big deal to me. I would love it. And every year when we do these streams, I get people that come by from all around the world that can't always come by my streams because of the times and everything, and they come by and say hi and stuff like that. So I would love to maybe not see your face, but see your name in the chat there in the old Twitch box, okay? So this weekend, 8 a.m. Mountain to 8 a.m. Mountain, the 12th to the 13th of November. Now I'm going to do my other plugs. You know what? I have merch. I'm not even going to plug it. It's at rememberthegamepodcast.com. Don't buy any merch this week. Don't buy any merch this month. Donate your money to my stream instead. If you want to support us, just donate some money. We obviously, if you don't like clothes or anything, you can always support us on Patreon, which I will still recommend doing because it's a great value and we donate some of that to charity. For just $2 US every month, you get 2 additional shows every week. You get exclusive access to my gaming news show Game Patch every Friday, where I look at the biggest news in modern games, and I add in my opinions and some profanity and stuff. And you also get access to Expansion Pass every Thursday, which is a different show each week. We do game rankings, we look back at characters, consoles, there's some comedy episodes, there's modern game reviews, tons of modern game reviews. And this past week on Expansion Pass, we talked about all the retro game compilations that are coming out these days. Sonic, Castlevania, Contra, Ninja Turtles, Mega Man. So many retro games are living on through these modern game compilations, and I liked that idea enough to dedicate an entire podcast to them, and it is becoming tradition during the intro. Here is a sneak peek of last week's episode of Expansion Pass, Retro Game Compilations. We'll start with that Castlevania Anniversary Collection that I was just talking about. It comes with 8 games from the NES, SNES, Genesis, and the Game Boy. I believe there's 1 or 2 that never made their way over to North America, but don't quote me on that. I still have not played everything on this collection. I've only played Castlevania 1, some of Castlevania 3. I tried Castlevania 2 for like 2 minutes. I was like, this is fucking weird. I played the shit out of Super Castlevania 4. I think that's the only ones that I've played on this collection so far. I'd like to get to the rest. But it's a really quality collection. I don't know if I would recommend paying full price for it. Not because I don't think it's worth full price, but because it goes on sale a lot. I look at the sales on PlayStation, Xbox, and Nintendo every week, and fucking, it feels like nearly a month goes by. Fuck, it's getting hot here. I'm taking off the old, I'm sweating like a pig here. Nary a month goes by that the Contra and Castlevania Anniversary Collections aren't on sale on something. And when they go on sale, it's not like 10% off. They go up for like $6. So that's now available in our archives. And this week, it's Expansion Pass 136. And I want to talk about the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series X and the Xbox Series S, collectively known as the Xbox Series Everything here to Remember the Game Industries. Because that console generation, the current one, it turned 2 years old this week. So I want to take a look back at the first couple years of the PS5, the Series X, talk about my favorite games from them so far, debate whether or not the generation's been a success, and you get the idea. So again, $2. Get you 2 additional shows every week and instant access to over 250 archived podcasts, plus access to the Remember the Game Discord, which is full of legitimately great people. Particular shout out to Tadpole, who gave away a ton of free game codes over there in our Discord a couple weeks ago, just to be a nice person. Like, seriously, our Discord is a shelter from the urine-soaked hellhole that is the internet. It's a great place. And in addition to Discord access, you get the chance to vote in our Patreon poll every month. You get the ability to submit comments to be read on all of our shows. You can DM with me all you want, and I actually check those DMs, unlike my Twitter and Instagram DMs that I don't check often because it's just mostly spam. And you get a shout out right here during the intro and get to hear me mispronounce your name like I'm about to do to most of these people. A huge thank you to all of our newest Patreons. One Babula 1, Ash Ketchup 69, Unstranger, John Warnock, Dexter Willman, Silver, Anchor Mantis Harold, Can't Destroy Her, Frank I'm sure I fucked this up. Frank Geriepi, sorry Frank, Ethan P, Big the Bruce, Marsh Money, Patrick Ryan, Colt Whitmore, Lua P, Ethan Brundine, Aaron Johnson, Devon Saint Amy, sorry Devon, Abraham Wagnew, Dane McMillan, Mackenzie Stewart, Stephen Crank, Larry White, Party Smasher, but the X's have X's in place of the A's. So Pixar T Smasher, Aiden Crehan, Ross, Mega Jim, T Trebuzio, Passion in the Shaving Cream. I think that's a movie quote I don't get. And Chris McDonald. That was an ugly batch of shout outs. But thank you all so much for the support and welcome to the Patreon, or welcome to the community. Remember the Game Industries. It's patreon.com/rememberthegame. I'm all fucked up this week. Anyways, to wrap up the sales pitch, please just don't forget 5% of our Patreon does get donated to my 24-hour stream. It will be on behalf of my girlfriend and I. We'll be making that donation this weekend, and then we'll be topping it up in December with wherever my Patreon is come the month of December. So, yeah. That's a great way to get a ton of extra podcasts, help some kids, and keep the lights on around here. And you can find me on Twitch at twitch.tv/rememberthegame if you want to come by. That's enough blowing myself. Let's blow some of you by blowing in the cartridges. It is our opening segment here on the show. I read a few comments and questions from our Patreons, usually gaming related, but not always. And we call this segment Blowing in the Cartridge.
He blows all right. He blows big time.
That's it, honey. Get into the spirit.
Let's blow. And before I get to my first blower this week, I've noticed almost every week I get 3 or 4 comments asking me, have I ever played this? Have you ever played this game? Have you ever played games I haven't covered on the show? It could be modern games. It could be retro games. I don't always read them here during the intro because I get so many of them, but I was thinking maybe that's what we're going to do for next week's expansion pass, next Thursday. We're going to call it Adam, Have You Ever Played? And every Patreon, I'll try to reply to every single one of them. I'll try. We'll see. You'll be able to ask me about one game, whatever game it is you want. Have I played it? And I'll let you know. But maybe we'll do that next week. So if you wrote in with one of those, just know I don't read a ton of them because I get so many of them. But maybe we'll try to cross those off next week. Matt Pierpoint wrote in and said, hey, Adam, while listening to your Skyrim episode, I've noticed a pattern with games where you name your character, or where you always name your character Hoju. Sorry if I butchered that spelling. Anyways, where did the name come from? P.S. If you liked Fallout 3, you absolutely need to play New Vegas. So just quickly to touch on New Vegas first, and I know this is going to get me some shit from people out there. I have tried New Vegas. I didn't care for it. I loved Fallout 3. I liked Fallout 4. I didn't hate New Vegas, but I found it just a little too empty and a little bland for my, I know. A lot of people have asked me if you're going to play New Vegas. I've tried it. I don't know. We are going to definitely cover Fallout 3 on the show at some point. New Vegas didn't quite melt my butter. As far as Hoju, for those of you that aren't Simpsons fans, there's a classic episode of The Simpsons where Homer asks Bart, do you want to change your name to Homer Jr.? The kids can call you Hoju. And I had a friend in high school that we all called Hoju. And I love that name. So literally anytime I can name my character in a video game, I name it Hoju. Always. Doesn't matter, male, female, animal, whatever the fuck it is. Hoju. Every time. Thanks for writing in, Matt. C-Spin. wrote in and said, hello, Mr. Blank. I wanted your thoughts on something I was thinking about. With VR quickly expanding, everyone thinks of the Oculus and the PlayStation VR as the pioneers, but many people forget about the Nintendo Virtual Boy, which came out in 1995. I vaguely remember playing a store demo setup, but I wasn't impressed. Do you think Nintendo was ahead of its time in technologies, wasn't ready for VR, or do we not count that and say Oculus and PSVR are the first VR consoles? Listen, I have never played VR outside of trying the Virtual Boy one time. And it made me sick. So my knowledge of VR is so minimal that it's practically non-existent. That said, I think if you ask Nintendo, even they would say to pretend that the Virtual Boy doesn't exist. So I'm going to say the Virtual Boy doesn't exist, and we'll start with the Oculus and the PSVR. I think even Nintendo would go that far. Bah, the poor Virtual Boy. Fuck me. Thanks for writing in, C-Spin. Stupid Sexy Flanders wrote in and said, maybe this is common knowledge, but I've noticed you never agree with the majority of people on Play 1, Remake 1, Erase 1. Could it be the troll in you, or are the masses truly wrong every time? I swear on Molly, which is my dog, which is like the highest thing I can swear on. I make my picks for which game I would play, remake, and erase before I go through the poll and read the comments. I write my notes, then I go to the Patreon posts to fill in my notes with comments and stuff. So I swear to God, I think you guys are just always wrong. I know I say there's no wrong answers, but I swear I don't do it on purpose. I just always seem to pick differently. There's been the odd episode where I go with the majority, but it is pretty rare. And I just pick them beforehand. I think, am I so out of touch? No, it's the hot dogs who are wrong. Thanks for writing in, stupid sexy Flanders. Rubik's, a.k.a. Arthur David, said, hey, Adam, do you like butter tarts? I've been trying to find these, but no bakeries in my part of the States have them. It took me forever to find poutine. Are there any other Canadian delicacies I should go on a fruitless wander to find here? I fucking love butter tarts. Yes, if you have never had a butter tart, you have not lived, ladies and gentlemen. And they are just, I don't even know what the fuck is in them. Maybe it is just butter. I don't know. They're just like really, really flaky, delicious outer tart with this fucking buttery, molassesy, syrupy brown stuff in them. And I'm doing this entire country a disservice by trying to describe butter tarts, but they are delicious. And I don't give a fuck. Haters can hate me all you want. They're better with raisins. Suck my ass. Raisins are delicious. So yes, I love butter tarts. As far as any other Canadian delicacies, I mean, if you've had good poutine and you've had butter tarts, like to me, those are the big two. I mean, track down the next time, if you're ever in Canada, Arthur or anybody else, try Wonder Bar. I think that's a Canadian exclusive chocolate bar, and it's the best chocolate bar ever made. And try Ruffles All Dressed Chips. I don't know if you guys have those anywhere else either, but those would be the other two things. And avoid Tim Hortons because they fucking suck. Thanks for writing in, Arthur. Bobby Litton wrote in and said, if digital games are the future, does that mean that GameStop and all game stores that sell newer games are doomed? I love physical games as I can get some money back if the game sucks and I want to trade them in. But man, that kind of future for me seems very bleak. Listen, I have beat this drum a million times, and you are welcome to disagree with me because I am certainly no expert, despite what Vertical Noise says. I don't know anything. I do think, yes, I think physical games are very slowly going the way of the dodo. And I know not all of you are going to agree. Every time this comes up, I get messages from people saying, I still buy physical games. Fuck yeah. Good for you. Live your life. But I like raisins in my butter tarts. Nobody's perfect. Buy your physical games. I liked physical games for a long time too, but I'm telling you, they're going that way. We talked about it on Game Patch a couple weeks ago that EA is phasing out physical copies of games like FIFA and Battlefield in some of the markets now. It is, if these game developers, the only reason they still make physical games is because they need stores to put their consoles in. And I think to limited success, the pandemic proved that they may not even need those other than, the fucking resellers buying all of them. They would love to just sell you digital games because you can't resell them. So there are no used game sales cutting into their beefy profits. Plus, they don't have to spend money on the making of the cases and the discs and pay the drivers and the gas and all that kind of stuff. You don't have to like it. You don't have to agree with me. And it's just my opinion. But I truly think that at some point, physical games are going the way of the CD, the DVD, and the book is starting to go that way. I think physical media is dying. It just is. And yeah, I agree with you. I get it, Bobby. I understand. I don't think we're going to be there tomorrow, but I do think that's the way gaming is going, unfortunately. And I'll tell you right now, every time GameStop comes up, people point out how much money they have. I'm going to point out how much money they lose every quarter. I'm not saying they're going out of business tomorrow. I don't want them to go out of business. I don't want to see all those people lose their jobs. But if that company doesn't find a way to fucking redesign their business model, like, they are dead. They are going the way of Blockbuster if they don't find a new business model. I don't care what you say. That you could have fucking $3 billion in the bank. When you're bleeding $250 million a quarter, it's not going to last that long. Anyways, we've done that. Well, we could do this dance forever. But unfortunately, I do think, my opinion, physical gaming is slowly but surely dying. Cabes wrote in and said, "Hi, Adam. Thanks for making an awesome podcast." Aw, that's the nicest thing anyone's ever said to me. Thank you, Cabes. It's kept me going through some good times and bad. I have a question. As a kid, our house was PC only, so while I have some great games, I was always jealous of my console-owning friends. Their games always seemed so amazing whenever I went to their house to play. As a console kid growing up, were there any PC games you wished you could have had on your console? Thanks again for the great work. Thanks, Cabes. Like, I'm not trying to troll, but, like, I really didn't know PC games that well. The two that were on PC that I wanted on consoles were Roller Coaster Tycoon and Doom. And we got both of those. Although, as much as it pains me to admit it, because I hate playing on PC, Roller Coaster Tycoon will always play better on PC than it does on a console. It's serviceable on other things, but it's at its best on PC. I'm trying to think, like, I swear to God, I'm not just trying to, like, throw heat and throw shade at PC Master Racers. I can't think of any other PC games that I really wanted to play. I don't know that much about PCs. I never cared about StarCraft or World of Warcraft or all the other crafts that are apparently games on PC are all called craft. Half-Life ended up getting ported to consoles eventually. Yeah, I don't think I got one. Roller Coaster Tycoon was probably my big one. And then I finally got it on my Xbox and admittedly realized, like, this sucks. I was better off playing it on my PC, but I can't think of any other ones. I'm sorry. I just don't know. I don't do PC. I'm sorry. I don't know it. But thank you for writing in, Cabes. And I'm glad, despite the fact that you grew up in a PC-only house, you've turned into a contributing member of society. Good for you. Overcoming the odds. And there it is. And finally, it's letter time. McGrathen wrote in and said, "Hello, Mr. Blank, fairly new Patreon and first-time writer-inner. My question is, do you get nervous about playing games that are recommended for you to play that are supposedly great? I have a friend who is constantly at me to play BioShock, also a listener to the show, you know who you are. And he even quoted you, saying that everyone should try it at least once. Can BioShock live up to the hype I've gotten about it? P.S. I know nothing about the game." So to answer your second question first, some people will disagree, but I think BioShock is... I mean, you can go back. Well, don't go back and listen to the episode of Remember the Game if you haven't played it yet, because we spoil stuff. I think BioShock is brilliant. I fucking love that game. I will continue to beg everyone to play that game until every single person on the planet has played it. Yes, please play it. As far as your first question, do I ever get nervous about playing games that are recommended for me? All the time, dude. All the fucking time. Anytime a game wins I've had some games that have won the Patreon poll where I'm like, fuck, I don't think I'm going to like this. And then I don't. And then I review it. And then everyone gets mad at me for not liking their game. So as far as the podcast go, it makes me even more nervous for games like Ocarina of Time, Sonic Adventure 2, Castlevania Symphony of the Night. I'm terrified to play Metal Gear Solid 3 because I know eventually I'm going to have to, but I fucking hated Metal Gear Solid 2 so much that, like, and if I don't like Metal Gear Solid 3, I'm probably going to get kicked off the fucking internet. So, yeah, I do. When it's just like a friend that recommends it, not as much. Because I don't mind telling them, like, I didn't care for that. You know, like, that doesn't bother me as much as... Maybe it used to, and then I started talking about my video game opinions on the internet for a living, and the internet can be a fucking cruel mistress. So now maybe my friends just don't scare me as much as the internet does. But yeah, I definitely get nervous about... I do. I get nervous about playing games that are super hyped. And then, you know, and some of them have lived up to the hype over the years. I'm trying to think of a few that I've played. Like Final Fantasy Tactics was fucking awesome. Grand Theft Auto 4 and San Andreas were both fucking sick. Bully, I loved Bully. Luigi's Mansion was rad. I have played some games for this show. Dude, Streets of Rage 2 and Toe Jam and Earl and Gunstar Heroes. I've played some games that were hyped up that I've loved. But yeah, I've had a few that I was skeptical going in, and then they didn't wow me at all. So I get that. Good luck with BioShock, McGrath. Let me know how you like it. You're gonna like it. It's fucking. If you have taste, if you have any fucking taste at all, you're gonna like it because BioShock is the shit. Anyway, thank you to everybody that wrote in this week. As always, we'll cover a few more blowing in the cartridge comments on the Rambling Idiot next week, which, if you don't know, is the rarely promoted third podcast I offer patrons at the $5 and up level. You can get a third podcast every week where I ramble about whatever I want, and then we have a Left Blowers segment where I take care of a couple extra comments that I couldn't get to on the show. But that's for then. This is now. Thanks for all the submissions. Let's switch things up and let's get into our Smash Hit segment, the official game show of Remember the Game Industries. You know what it is. It's play one, remake one, freaking erase one. And a huge thank you to Classic Concentration from the NES for unknowingly providing us with the theme music for the show. The rules are simple. Every week, I give our listeners 3 retro video games. They can play one as it was released, remake one as a modern game, and the third is erased from time forever. As always, there are no wrong answers, but there is a right one. We'll get to that in just a minute. And I probably didn't agree with it, as we just covered in blowing in the cartridge. This week, I went with 3 games that were featuring stupid animal mascots, as we're talking Bubsy. We have Gex, Enter the Gecko, Arrow the Acrobat, and Croc, Legend of the Gobbos. And 33%, oh my God, I forgot to put the winner in. Oh, Jesus Christ. I still have last week's winner in the notes. 33% said play Rogue Squadron Remake Shadows of the Empire Erase Super Star Wars. And I deleted it, so I can't see what the winner was. Oh, no. I did look, and I know it was Play Croc. And I think it was Play Croc Remake Gecko Erase Arrow, because I was pissed off that everybody wanted to play that stupid-looking crocodile game, and everyone was erasing Arrow the Acrobat. I'm pretty sure that was the winner, but that's not the right fucking answer. Let's see what a few of you had to say here, and then I'll tell you what the right answer was. Captain I can't believe I fucked that up. Captain Alcatraz wrote in and said, remake Croc. I have fond memories of this growing up, but it controls like ass. I think he deserves another shot, though. Play Gex because I never have, and I always thought it looked kind of cool. Erase Arrow because the last time somebody played with a bat, we ended up in a lockdown for 2 years. Get in the bin, you flying rat, you. Well done, Captain Alcatraz. Well fucking done. I disagree with your erasing of Arrow, but you made me laugh. Eric Christian Powers Esquire, who I imagine speaks in a very British accent, wrote in and said, play Croc because I've never played it. Remake Gex because I've never played it. And erase Arrow because I've never played it. Eric Christian Powers Esquire. I can get on board with your logic. You got to play and remake it. I appreciate that you fucking played by the rules, despite the fact you've never played any of them. I respect the fact that you played one, remade one, and erased one. Not like fucking Super Mario World is not as good as Adam says, the trolling sack of shit that they are, who wrote in and said, Adam seems to be getting soft, guys, not putting people on probation. Maybe we can break the rules now. I will remake Gex, Enter the Gecko, remake Arrow the Acrobat, and remake Croc, Legend of the Gobbos. Why? Because why would we like to erase any of these games? Because that's the fucking rules, Super Mario World, and that's what you wanted. I didn't put you on double secret probation because of your stupid goddamn shitty ass troll name. Super Mario World is not as good as Adam says, but now you're fucking done. Get the fuck out of my house. Double secret probation, you fucking cheating piece of shit. Mackenzie Stewart wrote in, playing by the fucking rules, and said, all right, we're playing Croc. I love this game as a kid. In my intensely done research, which was 30 seconds of watching a YouTube clip, it looks like it still holds up. We're going to remake Gex because he's the undisputed best animal mascot not named Banjo. Yeah, that's right. Suck it, my hot dog Sonic. Wow. And we're erasing Arrow because who even is he anyway? He's a goddamn acrobat. Or, yeah, an acrobat, Mackenzie Stewart. That's a hot take, though, to say that Gex is the best animal creature in a game not named Banjo, putting them both ahead of Sonic. That's a spicy meatball. I respect it. And Mega Jim wrote in, instead of the 3, the only one I've played is Gex, and while I didn't love it, I wouldn't mind seeing what they could do with it on modern gaming tech, so remake it. Of the other 2, I'd most likely choose to play Arrow, as I have more faith in an SNES 2D platformer over a PS1 3D platformer, which means Croc is getting erased later Gator. Fucking rights. Croc looks so stupid. I'm siding with the runner-up. I'm going with 22% of you, including Max Power, who I agreed with not only because they had the order right, but because that name just commands respect. Max, you don't... Max, what... Fuck. Max Power wrote in and said, I've never heard of any of these, but here we go. Play Arrow, as SNES games are typically more playable today than PS1 games. Not a diss on the PS1. I love that console, but the game's looking handled very crappy nowadays. Remake Gex, because every PS1 game could get a remake, and Gex looks more adult than Croc. Erase Croc. I actually don't even disagree with most of your logic, and I definitely agree with your order. I myself would play Arrow the Acrobat, because much like we did with Star Wars last week, I would be goddamned if I'm erasing an SNES game I haven't played before I erase a fucking... before I erase a PS1 game that I've not played. So I'm keeping Arrow the Acrobat as is. I'm going to remake Gex the Gecko because Gex is easily the coolest of these three characters, and I would legitimately be interested in playing a Gex game on PS5 or Xbox Series everything. And I'm erasing Croc, Legend of the Gobos, or whatever the fuck it's called, because he looks fucking stupid. And his stupid face means a stupid game 93% of the time. That game, judge a book by its cover. I think that's what the saying is. That game looks ridiculous. So thank you to everybody that wrote in and played along this week. What have I been playing over the last 7 days? And then we will get into talking Bubsy. I've been playing a little bit of Bubsy to get ready for the episode. I've also been playing a ton of Mario plus Rabbids Sparks of Hope. Do not sleep on that game. It's really fun, just like the first one was. I'm hoping to release... Get it? Oh, I just got it. Oh, Sparks of Hope. I'm hoping to drop a review of that. That was what my plan was going to be for Expansion Pass next week. Well, the chances are the next 2 expansion passes. One will be a review of Mario plus Rabbids Sparks of Hope, and one will be... Adam, have you ever played blank? And I'll answer some game questions about that. So I've been playing a lot of that. I've been playing a mystery retro game for an upcoming episode of the podcast. I finished it Sunday night. So we're going to be recording that in a week or so. It'll be going live in the next couple of weeks. I've been playing a little bit of PGA Tour 2K23 when I just want to chill out, especially because it's blizzarding here in Edmonton. It's goddamn snowing and minus 25 and shit. And it's nice to escape and just play golf and forget about what's going on outside. And I've started Alundra for the podcast for an upcoming episode of the show. PS1 game Alundra, for those of you that know it. That's what I've been playing. Let's talk Bubsy. That's why you're here. As always, I like to give you nerds a chance to sound off about the game we're talking about before my guest and I hog the microphone. Decoy Man wrote in and said, you finally did it. Well. Yes, for those long-time listeners of this podcast or any new listeners that have just gone back and listened to old episodes, I have been talking about covering Bubsy on the show for about 200 episodes, and I finally fucking did it. So thank you, Decoy Man, for showing me a little bit of respect. I appreciate that. And Luca wrote in and said, Game of the Year, all years. See? There are people that love Bubsy, even though it's not very good. People love Bubsy. Joshua Shenfield wrote, hey, Joshua, I haven't talked to you for a while. How you been? Joshua Shenfield wrote in and said, Bubsy was such an interesting experience when I first played it. Secret water slides, the roller coaster amusement park, and the Wild West train. That's all I remember, because that's as far as I could get. I never got that far. As chaotic as the game was, I remember the first one felt like a planned game, and the second felt like a jumbled up mess. I liked it enough as a kid to take care of it, though. It was one of the few Sega games I had to not have the hard black plastic case, but a cardboard one. I think that just shows the goddamn disrespect Bubsy gets when he didn't even get the plastic case. He got thrown in fucking cardboard. That is such BS. Lady Asaku, I hope I'm saying that right, Lady Asaku wrote it and said, this game gets a lot of hate. I used to play with my brother when we were little, and it brings back a lot of memories. As for the gameplay itself, I thought it was fun. I think what I hated the most was the jumping and hoping I didn't take damage or die. Exactly. It plays so much like Sonic, but like not as good. Sonic is way better than Bubsy, I promise. Which we're going to get to in like 3 seconds. Babula1 wrote in and said, I have this game for Sega on the shelf behind me. No idea where it came from or when I got it, but there it is, just sitting on the shelf looking fucking stupid. Even Bubsy hated Bubsy. Bubsy did not hate Bubsy, just most fucking gamers did. And it's time for Keegs and I to talk about why. I am going to cue up some Bubsy music. There it is. And when it stops, Keegs and I are going to talk about Bubsy in Claws Encounters of the Third Kind, which originally released in North America on the SNES and the Sega Genesis in May of 1993. Enjoy the podcast, everybody. Let's go. This show is sponsored by BetterHelp. Everyone that listens to this podcast knows about our illustrious CEO, my dog Molly. But the other silent partner behind the scenes is my wife. And let me tell you, my friends, a 17-year relationship with another person that has to talk to and live with you is a lot harder to maintain than one with a dog. We've had our ups and downs, and as you all know, a relationship isn't all sunshine and rainbows. They can be a lot of work. You get out what you put in when it comes to relationships, and talking to a therapist can be a fantastic quick way to put in some work. They can help you work through your issues, learn to communicate better, and even just provide you with an ear to bend when you need it. I've talked to my therapist about my relationships, especially when it came to my stand-up comedy career and how much I was away from home. And they helped me work on ways to keep my relationship strong even when I was out on the road. It turned out our relationship was actually better when I was out on the road, but that's a story for another day. And I know, right? Therapy. Who has the time these days? BetterHelp hears you, and they're making it easy. Fill out a quick form online, and they'll match you up with a therapist that suits your needs and that'll work around your schedule. You pick the meet times, and you can get your therapy fix from anywhere, over video, phone, or just chat. Become your own soulmate, whether you're looking for one or not. Visit BetterHelp.com/RememberTheGame today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/RememberTheGame. All right, so here's the thing, ladies and gentlemen. As I'm sure I said during the intro, I have a feeling this is not going to be the best episode of Remember the Game we've ever done. I don't think it's going to be Shaq Fu or Mario is Missing, but the fact remains that this game is not very good, and the mascot kind of sucks. And as such, I figured I had to call upon my rostered guest, who's not that good and kind of sucks. And so joining me via the phone is my man Keegs. How's it?
Wow.
The Bubsy of the roster. What?
The Bubsy.
You
Wow,
know
I
what?
got really downgraded from the last time I was on.
Yeah, I think last time you were a Bebop or Rocksteady or something.
Yeah.
But no, you know what? Bubsy, okay. First of all, how are you? How's life?
I was better until you just shit all over me.
Okay, fair enough. But listen, here's the thing. Longtime listeners of this podcast will remember this. There was a time a couple years ago on this very show, where I was bound and determined to make Bubsy the official mascot of Remember the Game. And it didn't stick because I tried to force it too hard. But I want you to know, I know I called you the Bubsy. I know Bubsy is kind of like a punchline in gaming, but I love this stupid cat. I'm a Bubsy fan and I don't care. So
Yeah,
I like
same
you.
here.
Take it for what it's worth. I like Bubsy, and I called you Bubsy, so take it for
All
what
right.
it's worth.
I'll take that then.
Yeah.
As long as it's clear for everybody listening that we both like Bubsy,
And we do.
and that's not an insult, it's a compliment.
Yeah, totally. Okay, so I don't even know what the fuck to do with this. Like, I'm just gonna be honest. All right, the only reason that this game is even getting an episode of this podcast is because it's like a guilty pleasure of mine. I like Bubsy, but like I haven't played any of his games after the first two. I only ever owned the second one. This one we used to just rent all the time. I replayed it or tried to replay it to get ready for this. It is very difficult. I've never beaten it. You said that you've never beaten it either.
Yeah.
Okay. So no one can expect
it was only ever a rental for me. I never owned either of the first two games, but like it was one of those ones that me and my brother rented all the time because we just loved it. Like it was just a stupid fun game. Like everybody makes fun of all the like his like quips and stuff he says, but we were little kids. Like we thought it was fucking hilarious.
Yeah, dude, I will go as far as to say I don't know if anyone in the history of the planet has ever owned a copy of Bubsy. I think everybody just rented it. I think that's the only reason this game exists. It was the fucking rental game. So I don't expect like the deepest strategy guide talk ever. Okay, my goal the next 40 minutes or so of podcasting is to just defend this stupid cat and just say that like I understand that he's a punchline today. I'm sure his modern games probably suck. I know everybody shits on Bubsy 3D, which I've never played, but I will dig in my heels and say that the original Bubsy is Like a good game is maybe too far, but it is a passable video game. There's nothing wrong with it. In fact,
there is a lot of worse.
you're okay. You're right. There is a lot wrong
there.
with it. Yes, you're right. But it's charming. It is charming in a weird way. It is. And in an era where it fucking seemed like every goddamn game developer under the sun was just picking a random animal and throwing them into a there was goddamn Arrow the Acrobat and Gex the fucking James Bond gecko, and I'm sure I'm forgetting
Croc.
Who?
Croc the crocodile.
Yeah, Croc. Yeah, like fucking. There's so many stupid animal. Like everyone was just trying to, they saw Sonic and they were like, we could do that.
Well, the developer for this literally wanted to do that. A guy was obsessed with Sonic. He's like, I can do that. And then we got Bubsy.
Yeah. And the thing about it is, like, I was replaying it this week to get ready for this episode. And I never noticed, because I didn't play a lot of Sonic as a kid. I never noticed just how much this game does actually play like Sonic.
It's like Sonic from Wish.com, though.
Yeah, fuck yes. Bubsy is Wish.com Sonic. Fucking all credit given to Keegs. That perfect. Like he does that stupid slow run that slowly takes off, and the levels are full of crazy ramps and slides and shit where you barely have any time to fucking react, and you're gonna die over and over again. The big difference, and I'm assuming the reason he didn't do it in this game is that, like, you pick up balls of yarn instead of rings, but when you get hit, the balls of yarn go everywhere and you keep going, you just die.
Yeah.
And so it's like, I assume that if he had made it to where the balls of yarn sprayed everywhere when he got hit, it would have been like, okay, you can't, like, that's a little too close to the line of, blatant copying here. But imagine, if anyone listening to this has never played Bubsy, imagine playing Sonic, but one hit kills you all the time. And ask yourself if that sounds like fun. And it's like, no, it's not. It's so.
It doesn't sound like fun.
No,
it sounds terrible.
It is. It is. It fucking kind of is terrible. But I have a soft spot for it. I don't know. They tried to give him the attitude. He's got his stupid little catchphrases and his big smile.
Oh. And what could possibly go wrong?
Yeah, what could possibly go wrong? I love that catchphrase. I love it. I okay, so, all right, if you've never played it, I'm not even going to try to convince you to play it because it probably isn't worth your time. But you basically play as this stupid cat, and he looks like a skinny Garfield, kind of, because he's like orange.
He's a bobcat.
He's a bobcat. Okay, yeah, you're right, he is. But he's like that orange, fur or whatever, and then he's got this stupid white shirt with just a red exclamation point on it, which is just the dumbest. Fucking does he not look like something that was drawn in like 8 minutes, like sitting outside of like a meeting with like the developer executives, and like the whoever pitched the game just like sketched this and was like, there we go. Like it just
eighth place in a design a mascot contest.
Yes, of 8 mascots. Gex the gecko, the fucking James Bond gecko, is miles cooler than fucking Bubsy. But you look at him and it's just, I don't know, man. There's this they were obviously trying to just appeal to kids, right? Like you said, you rented it because of Bubsy being on the box art. And it kind of works. Like even now I'm looking at him and I'm like, if I was a kid and I was walking through the store and I saw a cardboard cutout of that cat, I'd stop and be like, what is that? Like, he's not the worst designed character ever.
Yeah, and like in the game too, like the game is like bright, colorful. Like there's only a few different designs for the levels, but the levels look cool. Each of the 3 different like biomes look very different from one another.
Yeah.
But then like once you go into the levels, it's all looks the same. You don't even know where the fuck you are. But like the game looks really good. Like he's got shitloads of different animations.
Yeah.
But then
I think that's the number one, like to me, that's by far its biggest strength. And I know it was on Super Nintendo and Genesis. I believe it was on Genesis. I only ever played it on Super Nintendo, but
same here.
I know how fucking sacrilegious this take is going to sound, but I don't care. This game looks better than Super Mario World. Nothing else about it is better than Super Mario World. But it looks better. I'll fucking lock it in and say, if you're looking for like a cartoon style platformer, this might be a top 5 looking game on the Super Nintendo. Like, it is so bright and color. It looks like a Saturday morning cartoon. If it played,
Yeah, I don't know if I'd go that far to call it top 5.
well,
but...
I'm no top 5 as far as like a cartoony looking like action game. Like it looks really like I love Super Mario World. It looks nicer than that. It really pops. It looks like like you can see the Sonic influence on this, which I never noticed as a kid, but catch now that I've played more Sonic, is insane. Like it looks like a Sonic the Hedgehog game.
Yeah.
It's got those bright, colorful backgrounds and stuff. Now, the thing about it, and I know this isn't going to make for a good podcast either, I can't even tell you what the last 2/3 of the game look like because I don't think I've ever gotten past about the 5th level.
It looks like the first 2/3 of the game. Like I said, there's only 3 different levels designed.
Oh, okay. Like, as I brought up...
And then it just repeats till you beat the game.
Oh, okay. Because, like, area 1 is the village, area 2 is the fair, and I've never gotten past the fair. Then I guess it's Wild West, and then Canada. Canada has 3 levels in this game. That's fucking sick. If only I could get far enough to fucking see them. Like, that'd be sick.
Yeah.
No, I agree with you, dude. I think that's its single biggest strength. Even the first world, like, because that's the one I know best, probably you as well. Anyone that's played it, like, it's the village or whatever where you're walking by, like, it's like Toontown, and you're fucking walking down the street.
Yeah, basically.
It is stunning. Like, the backgrounds and everything, it is fucking crisp.
Yeah,
and,
like there's like trees in the background and then mountains behind it. Like,
yeah.
It's like 3 layers of background.
Yeah, and you know what else really pops is, like I mentioned, you pick up yarn balls. Like, that's your coins, that's your rings in this game, are these yarn balls. And just the fact that the yarn balls are different colors, really, maybe that's a little thing, but that really stands out to me. Like the red, the blue, the yellow, the green, they look so bright and animated. Even the yarn, like you want to collect, like I hate collecting coins. Like when I play Mario games, I'll collect the coins that are near me while I'm there, but I'm not going looking for dude, I don't know if you're like this. When I play Mario with somebody like Shaylee, I love her, but like who has to get every coin, and I'm sitting there watching and I'm like, you don't need all of these. Like go, there's tons. But in this, you want to get all the yarn balls because they're so bright. You know, like
and you need 500 of them to get an extra life.
Yeah, 500.
Fucking insane.
Is that not fucking like? And there's a lot of them. But 500. What the fuck are you talking about?
And you're probably gonna die a couple times trying to get all of them.
Yeah, yes. By the time you get to 500, you've lost 3 lives. Like it's fucking because it's so vicious because one hit kills you. And it feels like everything fucking like there's like those little, I don't know what they're called, the main bad guys that look like those weird
the woolies.
Woolies, yes. And they look like I don't know, like fucking rabbits.
They look like weird. Yeah.
Kind of.
They're like weird aliens.
Yeah. But like even them, like they're funny. Just watching them is funny. Like the way they like sneeze with their big noses and they stomp back and forth and stuff. But they're so easy to accidentally bump into while you're trying to jump on them. And like, again, there's no leniency. Like one hit kills you. And then that's not even factoring in fucking, if you fall too far, it kills you. If you touch a spike, it fucking kills you. There's like goddamn pianos rolling down the street that you don't hear coming until right before they're on top of you. That if you don't nail the jump, they fucking kill you. Everything in this game fucking kills you.
All kinds of stage hazards that you can't even see.
You don't see them until you got like, you need to, the only way to get good at this game is to just play it over and over and know where all the enemies are. And it's kind of,
even then, why would you?
Yeah. I'm not saying that this game is Echo the Dolphin. I am not saying that. I like Bubsy. But it is clearly a game designed for children like Echo the Dolphin was. And it's clearly a game that no child was ever going to beat. Like, it was ridiculously hard. And truth be told, dude, like, on a difficulty scale, it almost feels like it was only half done. Like, it feels like he had the enemies and shit in place, but then he needed to do some balancing, figured how to give you some more health, maybe clean up the hitboxes, something. and just nothing ever got done.
Then he didn't do any of that.
Yeah, that's what it feels like. It feels like all the time.
I got to do all this stuff, and then they're like, "Oh, the game's got to come out tomorrow." He's like, well, it's good then."
Yeah, like it feels like all of the time they put into it was spent on the animation and the colors, because they are great, dude. Even little things like when you jump on a woolly, and instead of it just like, you know, like when you jump on like a Koopa Troopa and they go into their shell, or a Goomba goes flat and disappears. I love that when you jump on a woolly in this game, it goes into that, like, you know, in a cartoon where two characters fight, they go to the big smoke cloud and the fists are flying and stuff.
Oh yeah,
it does that for a second, and then the enemy is dead. I love that. That's such a great animation.
And like he's got like different, like when you're like standing at the edge, like he has a whole bunch of different animations for that instead of just like none or one. Like he's got like 10 different death animations. Like just the amount of love that the devs put into like the animations is insane.
Yeah, you know what it kind of reminded me of was Earthworm Jim. Like big open levels, because that's the other thing. We'll get into that in a minute. But like these levels there's a lot to see if you want to go exploring in these levels. But sometimes it's hard to tell where you can go and where you can't, and what you can interact with and what you can't. And you're right. Like, dude, my favorite death animation of his is either if you touch a spike, he like gets deflated and flies around the screen.
Yeah.
Or the one where if you fall too far, it's like he turns into like an accordion and walks away. And like as he's walking away, it even goes like because he fell too far. Like it's like you're mad that you died, but it's fucking entertaining somehow at the same time, you know?
Yeah.
Also, another thing I really like is the way they give him the glide. When you jump, and anytime you jump and you can hold like Y, or I don't remember what button it is. And picture like Rocky the flying squirrel from like he can just float for as far, like he's always at a downward trajectory, but you can fly across half the level if you get a good bounce and go. And that's really fun. But the problem is that he's moving so goddamn fast that you realize enemies are coming and you don't even have time to fucking correct course. You just bump into them and die again. God, fuck. Yeah. Everything just ends up dying in this fucking game.
Yeah, like as much as all that sounds, like I think the game, if you just gave him like a one-hit shield or something that you could replenish, like that would make the game just infinitely better.
Yeah, and the thing about it is like there's all kinds of crazy items you can pick up. Like if you can find one of his stupid, fuck, it's such a, I'm looking at it right now. Like what a dumb shirt. A white long sleeve T-shirt with just a red exclamation point on it. Like, why an exclamation point? Like, fucking so stupid. But if you find one of his stupid T-shirts floating around, you pick it up, you get an extra life. Maybe there's something you pick up that gives you an extra hit. But I agree. Like, you should always, like, they should be far more plentiful to find that kind of. It's all yarn balls. Like, and the fuck, that 500 thing is fuck. Like, dude, if you pick up 50, you should get an extra hit or something.
Yeah,
like, just that,
nice.
Just that would have changed the game so much. But I think it says something to how good parts of it are when neither of us can beat shit in this game, but we both, like, you kept renting it. We rented it all the time and kept playing it as kids, even though you couldn't get anywhere in it. Like,
yeah, because it's just funny and fun. It doesn't have to be good to be fun, right?
No. Oh, you're right. Because that's the other thing. And I mean, you'll have already heard some of it when we put this episode together, but like, it actually is surprisingly good music too.
Yeah, like the clips are pretty short, but so like you'll hear it a lot because you die all the time.
Yeah,
but like. It's got some bops. You're just sitting there and you're like, you know what? This music's not too bad.
Like it really does feel like, I know I've said this about other games, but this feels like playing a Saturday morning cartoon. Like in every sense. I even love the little things. Like every time you pick up a yarn ball, it makes that like that little like, and I hope that came through the microphone, that like popping noise.
I heard it.
Yeah. Okay. Then they probably heard it. There's something very, I don't know what it is. Very, very, I don't want to say calming, but there's just something nice. There's something fun about that. It's a very positive sound. As you're just flying, you're like, there's nothing better in this game than like jumping off an enemy. You do that fucking cloud animation, and then you just take off into your glide, fly through the air, picking up yarn balls, and it's just popping everywhere, and the bright colors, and fucking the music is playing. What's that?
It's like bubble wrap.
It is like bubble wrap. Yes. Yes. Maybe that's
Like that's why it's satisfying, because bubble wrap's satisfying, just listening to the pop.
You're right. Maybe that's what it was. Maybe he played it and he was like, dude, this game is really fucking hard and kind of broken. Let's put this bubble. Yeah. Maybe they were popping bubble wrap in like the testing studio. And then they were like, maybe we should just use that sound effect because that'll keep the kids calm as they fucking die. You're right. I never even thought of that. So yeah, like the music is really, the music's good. That popping is good. Oh, you know what else is really cool about the music is the way it changes based on what situation you're in. Like when you're going down the water slides, which I fucking hate, by the way. And it does that like crazy, like, like everything is completely out of control. Which, by the way,
it is completely out of control.
It is, fuck, right?
It's like, so, it was like, ass, I can't do this.
It's so, okay, and like, again, if you've never played this, I know we both sound like we're high right now, but that's what this game is like. It's fucking, you're in a village controlling a cat, collecting balls of yarn, floating everywhere, fighting bunny aliens, and then for some reason, there are just these water slides that just look like logs that have been like hollowed out, and I don't even know where the fucking water comes from. They're just, this guy. They're just randomly placed. And they're like 30-degree angles. Like they're not super steep. But once you get in one, all you can do is jump and then float and like float away. But you can't change your direction. You can't stop yourself. Bubsy looks like a turtle on its back. With his feet and legs in the air, just like panicking. And with such fucking...
because he's a cat in water, right?
Yeah, sure. But like, it's such horseshit because you slide down these shitty slides, no idea what's coming. You get going so fast, and the fucking music for the slides never stops. It's just like, and it never fucking stops. And then finally, you fall off the slide, and God help you if there's a fucking woolly or a piano or a car or just a fall from because sometimes the fall out of the slide is too far, and that fucking kills me. Like, I never take the slides because as entertaining as it is to watch them in it, I know I'll die when I come out. Every fucking time. It's such crap. I'm trying so hard not to say this game sucks because I like Bubsy. But this game...
It does suck, but
it does
fun.
Suck.
It sucks in a fun way.
It fucking sucks.
Like, it's full of puns. Like, if you like puns, which I do.
Yeah.
Like, it's full of puns. Like, all the woolies, like the queen woolies, it's like the two twins. They're like a two-headed woolly, whatever the fuck they are. Their names are Polly and Esther.
Oh, that's sweet. Even like the name of the title, like the name of the game, it's technically called Bubsy in Claw's Encounter of the Furred Kind.
Yeah.
Like, all right, come on. Dude, I'm telling you right now, Keegs, if this game was 20% better, it would be considered like a classic from the 16-bit era.
Absolutely.
It's
there. You can see like what he wanted to do. It's there. He was so close. There is just something missing.
Yeah. Yeah. And then obviously the big problem is like Bubsy 3D, which I've still never played, but apparently it is.
Yeah, me neither. I've only ever played the first two.
Yeah, I don't want to even the second one. I actually think the second game is better.
Yeah, me too.
But
it's a lot more. The levels aren't as like left to right. It's a lot more like explore the levels than the first one is. But
yeah, but then Bubsy 3D came along and it was so notoriously bad that I think his reputation was just sunk after that. Yeah. Although I am so tempted to play one of the new ones just to see how fucking bad.
Yeah, haven't they made like 2 new ones?
I think so. Yeah, he like disappeared for like 15 years.
Fucking
and then
insane.
Just out of nowhere made fucking what the shit? Why Bubsy?
That's
like
insane that they're like, yeah, remember Bubsy? Let's make 2 new ones.
Yeah, and it was like, no, nobody fucking remembers Bubsy. That's the problem. Although the thing about it is I think people do. Like when we record these chats for Remember the Game, and I'm not talking to Keegs now, I'm just talking to the listeners. We record these well before I ever do like the infamous intro or anything like that. So I haven't seen any listener comments on this game or anything yet. But I'm very interested to see, because I'll bet you I'll bet you there's a lot of kids that rented, because I remember the marketing for Bubsy when it came out. They were like, this guy was gonna be the next coming. Like,
Oh yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah, like maybe that's why the fucking gameplay sucks, because they spent their entire budget on magazine ads.
Yeah, like it was insanely aggressive marketing. Like it was like it got crazy good reviews too. Like it reviewed insanely well.
And the thing,
but that's before it came out.
Yeah. Well, but I think part of the reason it reviewed well too is like back in these days, obviously we didn't have YouTube to fucking watch clips and reviews of the reviews that we got back in the SNES Genesis era were images in magazines. And this kind of brings it back around to where we were when we started talking about this game. It really looks stunning. And so if you're a kid and you're reading the latest issue of fucking GamePro or EGM or whatever, and you're flipping through, and then you see this ad for this fucking cool, because he does look cool, this cool looking cat with this stupid shirt with these bright, colorful fucking levels. And let's be honest, a lot of people like cats. There's a lot.
Cats are good. Cats are great.
Well, they're okay. I mean, I don't hate cats. I'm just so allergic to them that they're tainted in my eyes. But you're right. Like, I used to have a cat. I like cats. I understand how the marketing worked, because I played this game today. I played this game in the last 12 hours and died. And I'm looking at images of it right now, and I'm like, dude, I kind of want to play that. That looks really fun. So I get how the marketing fucking paid off. It really kind of feels like a missed opportunity.
I mean, he's got 6 games, so
yeah. I mean,
not like it's a one and done flop like a lot of those mascot games were.
No, you're right. It still doesn't mean it's fucking. Yeah, you're right. Actually,
we can close the book and call Bubsy a success.
How?
6 games, that's a success.
I never even thought about that, but Gex the Gecko and goddamn Croc, that little fucking wiener Croc, and insert whatever animal mascot you want here, Arrow the Acrobat. Like, so many of them died on the vine. How is Bubsy?
Bubsy even got a pilot for a cartoon.
Yeah, he did.
And fucking Rob Paulson was voicing him.
Really?
Yeah.
If anyone doesn't know, Rob Paulson was the voice of Raphael back in the '87 cartoon. I know he's done 100 other things, but that's always what I think of is Raphael.
Yeah, he was going to be the voice of Bubsy for the cartoon.
What could possibly go wrong? Fuck, that would have been so. I would have watched a Bubsy cartoon. Dude, and this is what I'm talking about. Like, this might be the single shittiest episode of Remember the Game ever, because it's not even that good a game, but I still love it. I love this stupid cat. Oh, another thing that is so clever is that you have 9 lives when you start the game.
Yeah.
I know it's a minor thing, but I assume like that's okay. Why I like that so much is partially because it's a cat, and partially because they were like, no one's gonna beat this game with 3 fucking lives.
Yeah.
like it's a good thing that they don't, like, the saying isn't cats have 2 lives, because this game would have been fucking dead.
Well, it's like fucking 16 levels.
I know. I don't get it. I don't. Oh, and that I wanted to get back to that. We were talking about how big the levels are, and that's why I compare it to Earthworm Jim, because I like the Earthworm Jim games a lot too, but they're also very tough, and they're very you can go left to right, up and down. You can fucking go wherever you want. And I will say that I don't know if the levels in these games necessarily make sense, because you're in a village with a goddamn waterfall from the sky that looks like something from fucking Gilligan's Island or some shit. But you can also go underground into caves that are full of spikes and sewer drains and taxis and raising water.
Yeah.
They don't make any sense, but there is a lot of exploration. And I remember that's my standing memory of playing Bubsy, is just exploring that first level. Going everywhere, those first couple levels, and just going all over the place.
Yeah, it's like, this seems too hard to fucking beat, so just keep playing these fun levels and just try and find everything in the levels.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that was exactly, because I knew I wasn't gonna. Plus, you have to collect fucking 500 goddamn yarn balls. What a stupid fucking idea. 500. What a stupid fucking idea. 500 yarn balls. But I loved exploring it. Like, I would just play that first couple and just listen to them. Like, that was what I would do. And, like, looking back on it now, it seems like such a waste of time. But I would just put this cartridge in, turn it on, and just fuck around in those first couple levels. Because I don't remember there being any boss fights or anything.
Yeah, you had to, it was like flying saucers. It was Woolies and flying saucers.
Oh, yeah, right.
And they would just, like, throw shit at you, and you had to bounce on their head.
Yeah,
and that was literally every boss fight.
Oh, God.
It was either one or two saucers. Like flying saucers.
What the fuck, man? You're right. like what? Like, you're not wrong.
Yeah, not great.
What did you fucking call it? It was like wish.com Sonic?
Wish.com Sonic.
Like, I'm looking at it right now, and it's just like, oh my God, what I wouldn't give to fucking talk to director John, oh no, who is it? Michael Berlin. I would love to talk to this fucking guy. I'm just making sure he's not dead.
He played Sonic the Hedgehog for 14 hours a day for a whole week before he started making Bubsy.
I want to talk to him. Like, I'm so intrigued by Bubsy. I feel like you could do like a YouTube documentary on Bubsy, and it would just be fascinating. Because like you said, you nailed it. Like when you said, like, you can see what this guy was trying to do. And listen, dude, you grew up playing these games just like me. There is so much crap from this era. Like, so much just shit, shovelware, garbage fucking games. And I don't think Bubsy is that. Like, I'm not saying it's good.
It's definitely a passion project that just kind of fell short.
Yeah, you can see how badly he wanted this to be good. Like, there's a lot of effort put into this game. It kind of, like, I'm trying to say it in a way, I don't want to sound disrespectful. It kind of plays like a game from someone that, like, didn't know how to make a video game.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Like, I'm not trying to be rude, but it just, like, it plays like someone that was like, I love video games and I've always wanted to make one, but I don't really know what I'm doing. Like, it feels like it was never play tested. It wasn't balanced. They didn't, but it's, I've been dreading this episode.
They got play testers. I'm looking it up on Wikipedia. They got play testers. It was a bunch of fucking kids. They had a playable beta of the game, gave the kids a bunch of pizza and pop, and got them to play it. That was their play test.
Oh, Jesus Christ. But you know what, though? At the same time, that's probably their demographic, right? Like, if I played this for the first time now as a 39-year-old, I would be like, this is fucking terrible. But I played it when I was like 10. And I was the exact, much like yourself, right? You said you guys used to rent it. Like, that's exactly who they were aiming for. Like, you didn't even care that it was good or bad. It was just fun to look at, fun to listen to. It is, dude. And, like, let's call a spade a spade. When you're fucking just flying around that village, like, collecting yarn balls and bouncing off woolies, it is fun.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just fun for, like, 5 minutes. And then you're like, all right, I can't beat this. I gotta play. I hate to, it really is a lot like Echo the Dolphin in that sense of, like, it is fun for 5 minutes. And then when you actually try to play it, you're like, holy fuck, how do you beat this?
Yeah. Yeah, it's fun to run around and explore the first level, but trying to actually beat the game is fucking nightmare and you're pulling your teeth out.
Yeah. Fuck, what could possibly go wrong? Everything, Bubsy. Fucking everything, son.
Well, the best is, like, you would have a different line that you would say at the start of every level that would usually be a joke, but some of them wouldn't even be jokes. You would just say something, and it's like, that's not even a joke, Bubsy. It's not a pun. It's not a joke. It's not even funny. Why are you saying it like it's a joke?
I remember the beginning of level 2. He goes, "Did I mention I don't like heights?" And it's like, no, but that doesn't matter. You're in a platformer, so you better fucking get used to it. Like, oh Jesus, A Bridge to Fur is the name of level 3. That's fucking
More like a bridge too short.
more like a bridge too short. That's right. And he always, yes. And I don't remember.
But they're so bad. They're so stupid, but that's why I love them.
Me too. And it's like, and I don't know. And especially because, like, remember, dude, in the SNES, like, Genesis days, that was still novel. There's not a lot of games where you actually hear a character talk. You know,
Yeah.
like, it was, yeah, more like a bridge too short. And he always, like, I don't know if he had a lisp or if it was just the audio, like, on the Super Nintendo cartridge. But, like, he'd always be like, did I mention I don't like heights? Like, that's how he talked. It was more like a bridge too short. And it was so, fuck, what is
And, like, some of the references, like, it's, like, I think level 6 or 7, the good, the bad, and the woolies. And then his intro is like, well, it worked for Clint.
Really?
the 7-year-olds that are playing this game aren't going to know that reference.
I want to know if he beats, like, if you beat the game, I wonder what he says. Like, I wonder, like, I bet you they never even, this is one of those games where I'm like, I bet you there's not even an ending screen because they were just like, no one's going to fucking beat this.
Oh, probably not.
They just stopped. They're like, no one's going to beat this. Man, fucking Bubsy. How many? So this is episode, I think this will be episode 222 when it goes live. We just finished episode 220, just went live when we're recording this. I think it's going to be episode 222. And I got to say, in 222 podcasts, I've never I'm sitting here like resting my chin on my hand with this fucking smile on my face, just looking at clips of this on the internet. And I'm like, this game should get the Echo the Dolphin treatment from me. But I just I don't know. I guess maybe they did a good job designing the character because I just love Bubsy too much to yell at this stupid cat. I can't do it. I know it sucks. But I can't do it.
Turns out you're secretly a cat guy.
I guess maybe I am. Fucking, if I had a cat like Bubsy, actually a cat like Bubsy would fucking suck. Flying all over the place and dying all the goddamn time. Mouthing off at me.
Ripping up your shirt so you can get to the yarn.
Yeah, no shit, yeah. Plus, like, every time anyone comes over to my house, they're like, why's your cat wearing that stupid shirt? I'm like, I don't fucking know. He won't take it off. I don't know. Why an exclamation point? Like, why not just give him a white shirt? Why does it have to have this stupid exclamation point on it?
Because it's something that just sticks in your brain, right?
I guess so. I guess that's like attitude. I'm looking at the design of him and like he would have made a better cartoon show than he would have a video game.
Oh yeah. Have you watched the pilot for the animated show?
No, I forgot it existed until this episode.
It's not good.
I believe that.
But it's stupid and it's funny, and I mean, like that's all it was about.
Yeah. What a dumb game. I don't know what else to say. I don't want to waste everybody's time and just ramble on for 15 more minutes of this shitty podcast, but this might be the first episode since I introduced the infamous intro where the infamous intro is longer than the fucking game chat. It might be. But like we're at 36 minutes right now. I've never lasted 36 minutes in this fucking game playing it. Like, yeah. You know, I don't know what else to say.
I thought you were going to finish that sentence that you've just never lasted 36 minutes.
Oh, no. Fuck. Anyone that lasted 36 minutes, you're not very good. Like 36 minutes, get the fuck out of here. It's not even fun anymore. Now it's just chafing. That's no fucking good. Anyway, I don't know. Are we done? Like, what else do we say? What? It's the worst episode ever. But I like when you and I were talking. Okay, listen, everybody. I'm gonna put all our fucking. You know me. I'm honest with our listeners. I'm gonna put all our cards on the table. Keegs and I are both doing 24-hour streams to raise money for Extra Life this weekend, and I was like, dude, we need to do an episode together so that we can get you and you can plug your Extra Life and all that kind of stuff. And the simple fact remains, I'm running out of games that I've played enough to talk about on the show. I have to play more. And I am working on a whole bunch of games, but I sent Keegs the list of games I had open, and he was like, dude, I could do Bubsy. And I have wanted to do an episode about Bubsy forever. My plan was always just going to be I was going to do it alone someday, because I didn't think there was a single one of my friends that were lowbrow enough to have also played this shitty game as kids. But then you stepped up. So I'm just going to be honest with everybody. We basically just killed 39 minutes talking about an awful game so that we could plug our 24-hour charity streams in the end. That said, I don't think this is the worst episode we've ever done. It's maybe
it's close.
It's maybe bottom. I still think Shaq Fu is the worst episode we've ever done. I hate that episode.
I mean, that's just a shitty game.
It is a shitty game. Listen. Okay, we're gonna get ready to wrap this up. I'm gonna pose the question to you while I collect my thoughts. Keegs, is Bubsy a bad video game?
Yes and no. It's not a bad video game. Shaq Fu is a bad video game. Bubsy is a fine video game that's fun.
Yeah. I mean, I guess at the end of the day, like, I guess it's really what it comes down to, right? Like, is a video game fun? That's what matters.
Yep.
And I've always said it many times. Like, I care about controls, I care about graphics, I care about story, I care about all that. But, like, if a game is fun, I can look past everything else. As long as I'm having fun playing it, that's what matters. And you're right. I have fun when I had fun playing it today. I'm like, it's not that good, but I have fun playing it. And if it's fun, then doesn't that make it good?
That's the way I look at it.
Yeah. I feel like Bubsy got done dirty. I feel like he deserves a better video game than this.
Oh, for sure.
Like, what the fuck? What does this ad say? There's an ad from a magazine where he's like breaking through the print. What? I didn't approve this ad. This is defamation of character. Defamation. Or slander.
Jesus.
Get my attorneys on the horn. Hey, is anyone listening to me? I want my mommy. What the fuck? I remember these ads from Archie
I just
Comics.
love that. Like, it's just stupid, but I love it.
Yeah.
I shouldn't love it, but I do.
Yeah, me too. All right. We're done. I'm glad we did this. I can't wait for the inevitable Bubsy 2 episode. Fuck me.
I'll do Bubsy 2.
Bubsy 2 is actually a good. Bubsy 2 is a good game. Bubsy 2 has got. Yeah, there's a decent game there.
Bubsy 2, good game. We're calling it now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Bubsy 1, bad game, but it's fun. Bubsy 2, that's a good game.
Yeah, Bubsy 1 is legitimately like a tragic tale. Like, that's how I would describe this game. It's a fun game. It's a tragic tale because it could have been great. All right.
Yeah.
I mean, I think, do we score it out of... Okay, so I'll give you... You're the guest. We either scored out of 9 because cats have 9 lives, or we scored out of 500 because you need 500 yarn balls to get an extra life.
500 yarn balls for sure.
All right.
That's insane.
All right. So if we're scoring Bubsy Claw's Encounter of the Fur Kind out of 500... I feel like Remember the Game jumped the shark today. This was it. Like, when this show is canceled, we'll look back at episode 222 and be like, that's where shit went wrong. What could possibly go wrong? We could cover your shitty game, Bubsy. That's what could go wrong. Out of 500, what would you score fucking this stupid video game?
I'm giving this stupid video game 420 yarn balls out of 500.
You're just high. 420.
Not yet.
After this, maybe. Yeah.
After this, get high, play some Bubsy.
Yeah. 420, hey? Do you want to...
That's a good evening.
Do you want to elaborate on that, or are you just going to lock it in and move on?
No, because like it's legitimately fun, but it's just the game kills you every chance you get, so it loses 80 yarn balls.
All right. That's
for
fair.
For killing you too much.
Yeah, that's fair. And you will die.
Perfect video game.
And you will die at least once trying to grab 80 yarn balls, no question. So.
Oh. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll give it like, I don't know, like 375. It's fine.
12. 12 yarn
yeah,
balls
12. Yeah. I'll give it like 375. Like, it'd be like a 7 out of 10. It's okay. It's just dumb, but it's okay. I don't know what else to do. You know what? It's just, dude, it's just, I should rip it apart and I can't do it. I just like it too much. I can't do it. It's a guilty pleasure game.
Same.
All right. There. We did it. I'm so glad we covered stupid Bubsy. I really am tempted to try to reach out to this guy, Michael Berlin, and see if I can talk to him about his fucking Bubsy.
Well, he's 73, so.
Yeah, but that's okay.
He's probably down to talk. He's probably not doing a whole lot these days.
Yeah, what's he doing these fucking days? Oh, okay, so wait a minute here. So after he developed Bubsy in Claw's Encounter of the Third Kind, He left the company because he wanted to work on his own business. However, he helped a little bit on the Bubsy TV pilot. So that he wasn't even involved in Bubsy 2, which was the good game. But then he came back for Bubsy 3D. Dude, this guy's a goddamn sicko. What the fuck? Oh my God. All right. Keegs, this weekend I will be streaming for 24 hours, but you are also going to be suffering for 24 hours, all for the children. So I'm going to shut up. What are you doing this weekend?
So we're old and we have a group that can't do 24 hours straight because of other commitments. So we're going to be doing 2 12-hour sessions, 12 hours on Saturday, 12 hours on Sunday. We're going to be playing some Pathfinder, which is just Dungeons and Dragons with more math. We're going to be playing some board games, probably some Jackbox TV games and stuff. I don't know what we're doing for streaming yet, but we'll probably at least stream the Jackbox stuff.
Okay.
If anybody wants to pop by and check any of it out.
Okay.
I'll shoot Adam some links here.
Yeah, there'll definitely be links in the description of this podcast. And much like myself, you guys are raising money for the Stollery Children's Hospital here in Edmonton.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Raising money for the Stollery. I don't have anything to give away like Adam does.
Nah, it doesn't. No, but I don't think anyone donates for the giveaway. They give away like fucking. They donate because everybody likes kids, except Bubsy. I imagine Bubsy wouldn't. He'd like cut kids up. I think he'd scratch them. But most people.
I mean,
like kids.
if you donate, I can give you a crisp high five.
Beautiful. Washed or unwashed hand, it's dealer's choice.
Whichever you want. You're donating money to help sick kids. So
Goddamn
you want
right.
it washed, you want it unwashed, you let me know.
Excellent. Yes. So check that out. There will be links in the description of this podcast with all the information. We're recording this episode almost 2 weeks out. Basically 2 weeks out from these streams. So not all of the I's are crossed and the T's are dotted yet, but we'll get there. We'll get all the details locked down. So by the time this episode goes live, any information Keegs has sent me about his stream, you will definitely be able to find it in the description of this podcast if you want to swing by and support a fellow hot dog and the children, because really that's what it's all about, is the children. So, buddy, we made it. We did 45 minutes about goddamn Bubsy. I don't know
how, but we did it.
I don't know either. So fucking don't worry, ladies and gentlemen. If you're listening to this, everybody, next week we'll cover a good game. I promise. Actually, I
wouldn't make that promise.
No, actually, I think next week we're talking the Mortal Kombat movie. So that might actually be. Is that worse than Bubsy? I haven't watched it yet. Is that worse than Bubsy?
The movie?
Yeah.
Yes and no in different ways.
All right. Well, I'll be the judge. I'm expecting to dislike it more than mislike, not dislike. I'm expecting to mislike it more than this game.
I like the Mortal Kombat movie, but same thing. It's not a good movie. It's just fun.
Right. Fair enough. That's how I feel about Venom. I love Venom, even though everybody hates that movie. I love Venom. So
I like the first movie.
Yeah, it was fine, right? It was stupid, but anyway, that'll be for another day. Buddy, thank you so much for giving me a call and talking about one of the dumbest video games that we've ever covered, but nevertheless still a good game in Bubsy Claws Encounters of the Furred Kind. Thanks for doing this, Keegs. I appreciate it.
All right, thanks for having me, buddy.
And that's going to do it for this week's episode. Keeks, thank you so much for giving me a call and talking Bubsy. And all of you for listening, not only for listening to whether this was your first or your 222nd, you know the spiel I always say, not only for taking a chance on my podcast, because I know there's a lot of retro gaming podcasts out there, but for fucking getting us to the Bubsy episode. I feel like we did it. I'm like, if the show ends tomorrow, admittedly, there was a time where I was like, I'm going to end the show with a Bubsy episode. Obviously, that's not the case because we'll be back next week. But I'm so glad we fucking covered Bubsy. And far more importantly, do not forget that this weekend, both myself and Keegs will be running 24-hour streams to raise money for the old Stollery Children's Hospital here in Edmonton, a very important hospital to all the people across Alberta. They help so many kids. It's a world-class foundation. Doesn't matter if you live near Alberta or not. If there's one thing I feel like we can't agree on politics, vaccines, fucking global warming, whether or not the planet is a circle or a sheet of paper or fucking anything else. But I think we can all agree that sick kids is a terrible thing. So if you want to come by either of our streams, go to the description box of this podcast to find Keeg's information, or go to rememberthegamepodcast.com for my information. Saturday to Sunday, 8 a.m. through 8 a.m. this weekend. I'll be at twitch.tv/memberthegame trying to raise $15,000 for the Stollery. Donate $20 or more. You'll be entered to win some prizes. I'll be running an auction to appear on the show as my guest. Should be a really good fucking time. And even if you don't want to donate, just come by and say hi, because I need people to keep you awake for 24 fucking hours. It's a long goddamn time. I'm almost 40. 24 hours awake is a long time. So come by and hang out. I'd really love to see you this weekend. That's going to do it. I'll be back tomorrow with Expansion Pass 136 for our Patreons, where we will be talking about the PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X after the first 2 years of their existence. I'll do Game Patch on Friday, and I'll be back next week with a whole nother slab of podcasts, including Remember the Game number 223, which is going to be about the Mortal Kombat movie from 1995. I finally watched it. I have a lot to say, and if you want to know what I think about it, you're going to have to download the fucking podcast, all right? I'm going to thank some Patreons and get out of here. Hopefully, I'll see you this weekend for my 24-hour stream. Thanks a lot for listening, everybody. What could possibly go wrong? Remember the Game is brought to you by our Patreons. I could not puke up all the content I churn out every week without all of your support. The following people are at the senior executive vice president level or higher at patreon.com/rememberthegame. They have the code RED clearance. And as such, I am contractually obligated to say their names as quickly and insincerely as humanly possible. So a huge thank you to Makeshift Mallow Magic Money, Joe Buck, Sharonic, Andre, Seymour Butts, James Clark, King Bahamu, Dave McGee, DNA Gaming, Slick Rick, Doug Dorn, Charlie Medeiros, Andrew Wright, Jordan Fraser Burns, Little Buddy Fufu 89, Angry Ticks, Dave Thompson, No One Cares, Aaron Lawson, Nathan Tremblay, A-Town, Morgan, Zane, Donovan, Ryan Kitchen, Mike Maloney, G9, PSX, Mercury 869, Wolfgang, Darren, Sam Wright, Andy Hudson, Doogie, Wolf Magic 21, Johnny CCDC, Joe LeBlanc, Squints, Titan 420, Zonko 504, Russell Aldridge, Jeff Bergeron, Captain N. Dude, when I do it like that, I get dizzy. OT Plays Games, Daniel, Tunable Power, John Woodruff, Randy Barrett, Just a Fish, DP Pooper. I can't get past that one. Dizalo, Holmes, Zach Shepard, Chris Dickin, Matthew D'Amico, Frosty Feet 492, Triple, Chugger 22, Elijah Burns, Stephen Parnell, Ray Sam Wantonga, DBXJ, Jameer Williams, Steve Dalk, Bob, We Had a Baby, It's a Boy, Mizuru, Nicholas Chaffee, David Marcus, Phil Lencher, Ruben Elizalde, Eric James, Riley Turvey, Jake Carter, Laces Out, Dan C-Spin, Thomas Smith, Nicola, Munch Makuchi, Leroy Westrich, Dark Squall, Jerry the 3D Printed Saustritz, Russell, whose last name I can't say, Evolva, Sean Ramos, DB Cooper, Stud Still Smash, Mojo the Helper Monkey, Brant Hewitt, Gabe, Dan Fusselman, Fuzzy 99, Decoy Man, John Jameson, Wyatt the Surgeon, who's not a surgeon, Rowe, Blaine the Hoagie Man, Scary Terry, Bucky Duck, Edridge FPV, Hagel Waffle, High Plains Drifter, Kayach, Timothy Joe Stone, Chris Williams, Oroku Saki's Gardener, Cody Richardson, General Fury, Them Boys on the Roof, Current, Remember the Game, Hall of Famer Mark McHugh, John of the Adult Children Podcast, Matt Hamilton, Nomad, Daniel Devore? Sorry, Daniel. James Black, Drugs and Bantam K, Sam Carpenter, Nerdy Hybrid, Adam Fletcher, Colin Bollinger, Lucas, Joey Mercury, Theorhead, Squeak Nuts, Isaias, Timmy the Exuberant Turtle, Brian Neese, Christian Gabriel, Maverick, Marty, Musty Beetle, Bud Lightyear, Beef Dingleberry, Michael Boujart, Barjoudanet, Hitchy Poo, Arctic Vision, Romaldo Marquez, Bulma Simp, Mark but not McHugh, Ben Malloy, pardon me, Trevor McKee, Quiet Place Queen, Cam Nelly 23, Zamato, Skillaroonie, Angelo Leonardo, Lugnut, Scott Weiss, Oh My God It Froze, Bobby Litton, Brandon DeZiba, Roger Russell, I fucking die. Dude, I get really dizzy when I try to run them really quick like this. Whew. Roger Russell, Kia Pup, Knife Goes In, Guts Come Out, Works For Me, McGrathen, Heman Demon, James Sanabria, Derek Cox, Dakota Guy, Alexander Camps, Toad Spit, Ryan Perry, Alex R, It's the Bigfoot, Graham, Itchy Nutsuru, Mr. Papa Giorgio, John Drew, Solomon Soto, Darth Skywalter, Denton Van Zandt, Postman, West Jen. That sounded like a rap. Nick Creature, Hattrick Swayze, Adam Martinet, Black Widow, Naf E, The Big Deal, Tone Bone Swiss, and Kevin Monroe. Thank you all so much, everybody. If I fucked up your name, wear it as a badge of goddamned honor. Talk to you later, everybody. Cheers, Purple Monkey Dishwasher.